Sloth Leo and the Secret of Trash. In a dense tropical jungle, where trees stretched toward the sky and vines wove intricate patterns, lived a thoughtful sloth named Leo. The jungle teemed with life. Noisy parrots flitted from branch to branch. Restless monkeys leaped as if dancing, and dignified capybaras lazily chewed grass by the river. The air was warm and humid, filled with the scents of flowers and ripe fruits. Sunlight pierced the thick foliage, painting golden spots on the ground, while a soft rustle of leaves swayed in the gentle breeze in the distance. This forest was home to countless creatures, big and small, each finding its place. But in this paradise, amidst lush greenery and vibrant colors, trouble was brewing unnoticed at first, but growing more palpable each day. Trash was slowly overtaking the jungle. Plastic bottles floated in the river, bobbing like uninvited guests. Old bags clung to branches, fluttering in the wind like tattered flags. Tin cans lay under bushes, glinting among grass and roots. The animals hurried about their business, oblivious to their home drowning in clutter. They navigated the piles, jumping over wrappers and skirting rusty debris. Clean water grew scarce. The once clear, melodious river now flowed murky, with a bitter taste lingering in the air. Fruit trees, strangled by plastic as if by invisible hands, bore fewer fruits, and those that ripened were small, sour, and nearly inedible. Even the little ones' toys, sticks, cones, and smooth pebbles vanished into the mess, becoming part of the disorder. "It's always been like this," the animals said, shrugging or wagging their tails. They had grown used to the clutter, murky water, and scarce fruit, accepting it as normal. Parrots kept squawking their songs, monkeys raced through the branches, and capybaras wandered along the shores, blind to their world's slow decay. But Leo, hanging on his favorite branch high in the canopy, watched and felt sad. Unlike the others, he didn't rush or fuss, he pondered, his large, round eyes, shining like dewdrops, noticed the river no longer sang its gentle song. The wind carried rot instead of flower scents. Leaves yellowed too soon, and fish hid deeper, avoiding the surface. He understood. The jungle was suffering, and someone had to act. This thought nagged at him, quickening his heart despite his natural slowness. One morning, as the sun rose, bathing the forest in soft pink light, Leo descended his tree slowly, as a sloth should, but with firm resolve in every move. His long claws gripped the bark, his fur swaying in the morning breeze. By the river, he saw a capybara family struggling to drink from a muddy puddle filled with cans, wrappers, and plastic scraps. A clumsy, fluffy little capybara coughed, spitting out the water, and its worried mother pulled it close, glancing around. Her eyes brimmed with concern, and that was the final straw for Leo. This can't go on, he thought, feeling a spark ignite within him. one he hadn't noticed before. He could no longer just hang and watch. It was time to act. He started small. He picked up a plastic bottle washed ashore, its surface slippery and coated in grime. Then another and another. But Leo didn't just clean, he examined each piece, turning it in his paws, scratching his head with a long claw. What can be done with this? He wondered, sitting by the shore, staring at his pile of junk. Burn it. No, smoke would poison the air and his friends' lungs. Bury it. No, the earth was already choking on waste that wouldn't vanish. Reuse it. That simple, unexpected idea took root like a seed in fertile soil. Leo recalled tales from an old turtle who lived by a distant stream, where the water still held a faint hint of purity. The turtle spoke of humans turning trash into treasures, bottles into houses, bags into fabrics, old tires into roads. Maybe I can too, Leo decided, a quiet, stubborn spark lighting his eyes. He gathered plastic bottles, piling them at a tree's roots, then called the monkeys quick, agile, and curious. They arrived chattering and bouncing, at first laughing at his slowness. Leo, seriously. It's just trash, they cried, but agreed to help. Together, they cut the bottles with sharp stones, linked them in a row, and covered them with broad banana leaves. A greenhouse emerged. Its walls rustled in the wind, but held strong. Leo planted mango seeds he found under a tree, carefully covering them with soil. Within weeks, fragile sprouts greened the greenhouse, and soon, sweet fruits appeared, their scent wafting through the jungle, luring animals near. Next, he tackled the bags, hanging on branches, tangled in grass, rustling underfoot. With hardworking ants, whose tiny legs zipped like the wind, Leo wove them into warm bedding. The ants spun the bags into dense threads, then tied them into soft mats. Coatis, lovers of cool naps, snatched them up, praising their softness and warmth. One curled up on the spot, purring with delight. Leo smiled. Trash could be treasure, seen differently. At first, the animals mocked him. A sloth cleaning trash. Ha, a fairy tale, squawked the parrots from treetops, their bright feathers flashing in the foliage. Monkeys giggled, watching him slowly drag bottles, sometimes dropping them and picking them up again. Even the usually silent capybaras exchanged puzzled glances. But when Leo's greenhouse yielded juicy mangoes and the river by his patch grew clearer, the laughter faded. Capybaras noticed the water no longer tasted bitter and came to the shore more often, splashing and snorting with joy. Coatis flaunted their bedding, showing it off, while young monkeys gleefully ate greenhouse berries, smearing their faces with sweet juice. Word of the thoughtful sloth spread through the jungle like rustling leaves. At first shyly, then boldly, animals brought him their trash. "Leo, what do I do with this bottle?" asked a monkey, holding out her find. "Where does this bag go?" inquired a coati, pawing at torn plastic. Leo didn't just take the trash, he taught. Plastic here, metal there, food scraps to compost, he explained, pointing at growing piles by his tree. The animals listened, nodded, and tried themselves clumsily at first, mixing things up, but growing more confident each day. Soon, a recycling station rose by the river, a simple bamboo and vine shelter woven by monkeys in days, but buzzing with work inside. Monkeys sorted plastic, tossing it from paw to paw. Ants wove new bedding, their movements nearly invisible. Capybaras hauled branches to reinforce it, puffing but never complaining. Leo led, slowly but surely, directing where to place each can or bag. From old tins, they crafted a guitar. Parrots composed a river song, their voices carrying over the water. From tires, they made swings for the little ones, who squealed with delight, rocking back and forth. From broken glass found on the shore, they created sparkling nest decorations, shining like tiny stars in the sun. The jungle came alive. The river sang again, gurgling between stones, its waters growing clearer, reflecting the blue sky. Freed from plastic, fruit trees bore abundant harvests. Mangoes, bananas, and berries hung in heavy clusters, drawing animals from every corner. They shared fruits, toys, and music, gathering by the river at dusk to hear parrots sing or chat about the day. Even the laziest, like the old jaguar who loved napping in the sun, began picking up trash along the way, grumbling but clearly pleased. But one day, a storm struck the jungle. Dark clouds blanketed the sky, winds howled, snapping branches and tearing leaves, and the river swelled, bringing new trash from upstream. Old tires, wooden debris, torn bags. Rain lashed the earth, turning paths into muddy streams, while lightning lit the forest in sharp flashes. When the storm subsided, the animals emerged from their shelters and gasped. The shores were littered again, Leo's greenhouse tilted, its leaves drooping with water, and the recycling station wobbled in the wind. "It's all lost," wailed a parrot, flapping wet wings and shedding droplets. "We tried for nothing," sighed a capybara, staring at the murky water where scraps floated again. Even the usually cheerful monkeys sat quietly on branches, tails drooping. But Leo, soaked to the fur, didn't give up. His fur clung to him, but his eyes burned with resolve. "We'll manage," he said softly, but firmly, lifting his head. "Together, we can do anything." He started first. He dragged a tire to the shore, panting with effort. The animals watched him, then each other, and got to work. Monkeys nimbly gathered small trash, hopping from spot to spot. Capybaras hauled heavy branches, their paws sinking in mud, but pressing on. Ants repaired the greenhouse, darting across its walls at dizzying speed. Leo found uses for the new finds. Tires became swings. Debris propped up trees to withstand winds. Day by day, the jungle was cleaned, and the storm, once a disaster, became a lesson. You can rise after falling. They worked together, cheering each other with shouts and laughter. And soon the shores were clear, the greenhouse sprouting anew. After the storm, the animals grew closer. They didn't just clean, they created. From old cans, They made wind chimes that rang melodiously in the breeze. From ropes found in the trash, they wove hammocks where little ones rocked to parrot songs, dozing to their rhythm. The recycling station became the jungle's heart, a place of ideas and friendship. Each day, someone brought a new find, and together they decided its use. A toy, a decoration, or something useful for all. Leo watched from his branch and smiled, his heart filled with quiet joy. He sought no praise, but the animals thanked him. "You showed us trash isn't the end, but a beginning," said the old turtle, nodding his wrinkled head. Even the grumpy jaguar now brought cans, purring proudly, for the station. His spotted fur gleamed in the sun, his eyes shining with pride. One morning, as Leo watered the greenhouse, carefully tending the sprouts, the grass rustled softly but insistently. The animals perked up. From the thickets glided a huge snake, guardian of the river, her rainbow scales shimmering in the sunlight. Her movements were fluid, almost hypnotic, her eyes glowing with ancient wisdom. The animals froze in awe, even the parrots falling silent. "You've cleaned my river and restored its song," she hissed in a deep voice that sent shivers down spines. "In gratitude, I bring gifts." With a flick of her tail, treasures appeared, sharp, sturdy stones perfect for tools, rare herbs with a healing scent, and seeds of unseen flowers, shimmering like pearls. "These are for you," she added, eyeing Leo with a faint smile in her serpentine eyes. He smiled shyly, scratching his head. "It's all thanks to you, friends," he said softly, voice warm. The jungle bloomed brighter than ever. Flowers unfurled in massive, rainbow-hued blossoms. The river sparkled, reflecting sky and trees, and the animals lived in harmony, proud of their home. They gathered at the station, swapping ideas, singing, and laughing as little ones played on swings. Leo returned to his branch, content and calm. He watched the river, listened to its gurgle, and knew one small step, his step, changed everything. Cleanliness begins with one. One bottle lifted from the ground, one bag turned into bedding, one thought that trash isn't just junk. Kindness, like trash, can be recycled, and it returns tenfold, in fruits filling bellies, songs ringing over the river, smiles of closer friends. Above all, together, any storm, wind, rain, or new waves of trash can be faced. Leo proved it, and the jungle lived by his lesson. Weeks passed, and the forest grew even lovelier. The snake's gifted flowers danced along the shores, their petals swaying like a dance. Stones became tools, monkeys cut branches, capybaras dug compost pits. Herbs healed the little ones' scratches from overzealous swing play. Each day brought something new: a parrot's song, a coati's rope basket. The recycling station grew, sprouting new shelters and sorted trash piles that no longer frightened but inspired. Leo often sat on his branch, watching it all. He wasn't a hero in the usual sense, no racing through the forest or shouting grand speeches. But his quiet confidence, his belief that even trash could be treasure, changed the jungle forever. The animals learned patience and possibility from him, seeing opportunities where others saw only filth. When new storms came bringing wind and debris, they no longer panicked. They knew what to do: gather, clear, repair, and repurpose what the river brought. One evening, as the sun set, painting the sky in crimson and gold, the animals gathered by the river. Parrots sang a new song about the sloth who saved their home. Monkeys danced, waving branches, while capybaras clapped in rhythm. Leo watched from above, his heart warm. He said nothing, just nodded slowly and thoughtfully, as always. It was enough. The jungle lived, breathed, sang, all thanks to one small sloth who decided trash wasn't an end, but a beginning. The forest became an example, not just for its inhabitants, but for those who heard the tale from afar. Stories of Leo and his friends spread on the wind, passed from bird to bird, beast to beast. Somewhere in other jungles, by other rivers, someone might also lift a bottle, scratch their head, and ask, what if that was Leo's greatest gift? Not greenhouses or bedding, but the idea that anyone can start, anyone can change.